Imagine, uh, imagine two customers for a second. One kind of just glances at your store window,
Yeah.
maybe stops for a beat to look at a display, and then, they just keep walking down the street.
Right, just a total passerby.
Exactly. But the other customer, they march straight up to the register, ask for the manager, and practically slam their wallet on the counter.
Yeah, that's the dream customer right there.
Right. But the crazy thing is, in digital marketing, we've been conditioned for years to basically value both of those people equally. Like a click is a click. Traffic is traffic, you know?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's completely wild. It completely warps your understanding of what's actually keeping the lights on.
It really does.
Because when you stop looking at the sheer volume of people just walking past that digital storefront, and you actually start analyzing the behavior of the people who open the door and walk in, the whole math of running a business changes.
Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at a stack of sources today that is, frankly, it's just incredibly rare to get our hands on.
Oh yeah, you don't usually see this kind of transparency.
No, you really don't. We're talking about a completely unvarnished 9-month case study from an Illinois Buick GMC dealership.
Hmm.
And the raw data spans from November 1st, 2025, right through to July 15th, 2026.
Yeah, we have their actual Google Analytics dashboards, their event tracking, the search engine results pages. I mean, we are really looking under the hood of a multi-million-dollar local business here.
Just to see what is currently working, like right now, in the modern digital ecosystem. And our mission for this deep dive is to decode all this raw data to understand exactly how digital traffic is successfully converted into those high-intent buyer actions.
Right, moving them from the window to the register.
Exactly. So if you're listening right now and you run a business or you manage a team or, even if you're just curious about why certain local shops always seem to pop up on your phone exactly when you need them, this is the blueprint.
It really is.
Because when you look at these documents, there's one vendor that just completely dominates this dealership's metrics. It's a platform called Dealer Leads. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
We need to start by looking at the overarching Google Analytics dashboard, just to set a baseline. Over this 9-month period, the dealership had over 74,000 total sessions across their site.
Right, which is a solid number. But that is the macro view. To understand the actual strategy here, we really have to isolate the traffic brought in by Dealer Leads.
Okay.
So over this exact same period, this specific vendor drove 4,217 total sessions.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there and just play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure, go for it.
If I'm the general manager of this dealership and I'm staring at a report showing 74,000 total sessions, right? And this one vendor only accounts for 4,200 of them. I mean, that's a fraction of the total pie.
It is, yeah.
That doesn't exactly sound like a tidal wave of traffic,
Yeah.
Marketing agencies usually try to sell you on the biggest number possible. So why are we zooming in on the 4,200?
Because chasing the biggest possible number is like the classic trap of digital marketing. Volume is just vanity.
Volume is vanity. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, think about the mechanical reality of local automotive sales, or really any high-ticket local retail. You don't need 10,000 people from 3 states away looking at a picture of a car if they are never, ever going to actually drive to your lot.
Right, because they can't buy it anyway.
Exactly. You need 4,000 people who live within a 20-mile radius who are actively trying to figure out how to finance a GMC Sierra like today.
That makes a lot of sense.
And the data totally proves this out. Out of those 4,217 sessions from Dealer Leads, 3,237 of them were classified by Google as engaged sessions.
Wow, okay. That is a massive distinction. And just for you listening, if you don't spend your days staring at analytics dashboards like we do, an engaged session is not just a passing glance.
No, not at all.
Google has very strict mechanical rules for this. To count as an engaged session, a user has to stay on the page longer than 10 seconds, or they have to view multiple pages or trigger a specific conversion event.
Right, so they didn't just click a link by accident and immediately hit the back button.
Exactly.
They arrived with a distinct purpose. I mean, that is an engagement rate of almost 77%.
That's crazy high.
It is. And what's fascinating here is when we drill down into what those users actually did, the contrast becomes even sharper. The documents show a total event count attributed to this vendor of 161,820 events.
Okay.
But out of those, nearly 35,000 were classified as key events.
And a key event, that's basically the gold standard, right?
Absolutely.
That means the dealership went into their back-end system and explicitly told Google, like, hey, if a user does this specific action, it is highly valuable to our business.
Yes. And this vendor generated nearly 35,000 of them from just over 4,200 visits.
Wow.
That ratio is just staggering. It means these users aren't passively scrolling around. They are highly active. They're interacting with the site's architecture over and over
Right,
again.
you're really using the tools.
Exactly. So despite being a relatively small slice of the overall traffic, they account for nearly 8% of all key events on the entire website.
See, that tells me that if a user is taking that many meaningful actions, they didn't just stumble onto the website by accident.
Definitely not.
They were intercepted at a moment of incredibly high intent. And to understand how dealer leads is capturing them, we really need to look at what those specific actions are.
Right, the actual conversions.
Yeah, because the sources break down the exact high-friction conversion events where dealer leads took the #1 vendor spot. And when I say high friction, I mean actions that require the user to do real work.
Real effort, yeah.
First up, they drove 2,747 CTA, or call to action interactions.
And a CTA interaction, that's a real commitment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it means the user is actively clicking buttons that say things like check availability, or view window sticker, or calculate payment.
They're digging for details.
Right, they are pulling data from the dealership to actively aid their decision-making process.
Okay, then we get to the metric that really caught my attention. The analytics tag it as digital retail completions, which is basically the build my price tool.
Ah, yes, the big one.
Dealer leads drove 258 completions here. Let's just think about the psychology of that for a second.
It's intense.
Configuring a $60,000 truck online is not a casual activity.
No, you don't just do that for fun.
Right. You're selecting trim levels,
Yeah.
you're entering your estimated credit score, you're inputting your current vehicle's VIN number for a trade-in value.
Which takes forever to find, by the way.
Exactly. And you are playing with down payment sliders. I mean, that requires an immense amount of cognitive load.
It really is the digital equivalent of a customer walking onto the physical lot, pointing at a Buick Enclave, sitting down at the salesperson's desk and just saying, let's run the numbers and see what my monthly payment looks like.
Yeah.
A user who actually completes that flow is at the absolute bottom of the purchasing funnel.
And the direct communication metrics reflect that exact same level of commitment, too. The data shows dealer leads generated 73 direct click-to-calls.
Which is huge. That represents over 14% of that entire event category for the dealership.
Wow.
Meaning, of all the people who decided to actually pick up their phone and call the store from the website, a huge portion came from just this one vendor's traffic.
That's wild. We also have form submissions here. There were 26 standard forms, but more tellingly, 24 special offer form submissions.
Right.
That accounts for over 10% of all special offer forms submitted on the entire site. And I mean, we all know that moment of hesitation before hitting submit on a lead form, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You sit there staring at your screen, knowing full well that the second you click that button, your phone is going to ring. A salesperson is going to contact you. Giving up your personal phone number today requires a massive leap of trust.
It really does, and that synthesis is crucial here. Getting someone to willingly hand over their contact information or, commit 15 minutes to a full price build means they are already sold on the idea of making a purchase.
Yeah. They're ready.
If a vendor is successfully generating those specific high-friction actions at this volume, they're driving pre-sold, highly motivated traffic. The digital storefront is doing all the heavy lifting of the sales pitch before the customer even speaks to a human being.
Okay, so if this vendor is funneling thousands of these pre-sold, highly motivated buyers to the dealership, we really have to look at the battlefield where this intent originates. Like, where are they finding these people?
Right, what's the source?
Because you can't just buy generic billboard space on the internet and expect this kind of focused, localized intent.
No, definitely not. To answer that, we have to transition away from the dealership's internal website analytics and actually look at the Google search results provided in the case study.
Which is where things get really revealing.
Yeah, this completely exposes the mechanics of their acquisition strategy.
So we have two very revealing screenshots here. The first is a search for the phrase Buick dealer SEO. Now, if you haven't paid close attention to how Google looks recently, you might expect to see a list of 10 blue links.
Right, the classic Google page.
But that's not what the screenshot shows anymore. The very top of the page is dominated by the new Google AI overview. This is where Google's AI reads multiple sites and just generates a conversational answer right there on the search page.
And notice who the AI is citing as the definitive source.
Yeah.
The AI text explicitly explains that Buick dealer SEO requires optimizing for hyperlocal search traffic, and it points directly to dealer leads as the authority.
Wow.
Furthermore, right below that AI-generated summary, dealer leads holds the #1 organic search result. They have completely monopolized the absolute most valuable real estate on the screen.
And the second screenshot shows the exact same dominance for the search query, GMC dealer SEO.
Yep, it's consistent.
The AI overview discusses maximizing local visibility for trucks and SUVs, cites dealer leads, and again, dealer leads is the #1 organic link. But what I find really interesting is the specific language the AI uses to define how you win this space.
Oh, the NAP consistency.
Yes, the AI explicitly mentions something called NAP consistency, name, address, and phone number. And I have to admit, when I first read that in the source, I thought, really? That's the big secret, making sure your phone number is correct.
It sounds like a joke, right?
It sounds like basic digital housekeeping. It doesn't sound like a master strategy.
Right. Well, it sounds incredibly simple until you look at the mechanical reality of the internet. Achieving flawless consistency across the modern digital landscape is notoriously difficult to do at scale.
Really? Why is that?
Well, think about a local business that has been open for 20 years. They might have changed their primary phone number from a local line to a toll-free number a decade ago.
Oh, true.
Or they might have moved suites in their building or changed their LLC name slightly.
So there are just ghosts of that old data everywhere online, like an abandoned Yelp page or a forgotten Foursquare profile from 2012 or an outdated listing on the local Chamber of Commerce website.
Yes, exactly. And here's why the algorithm cares so deeply about that. Search engines, particularly these new AI-driven models, they are essentially risk management engines.
Okay, how so?
Their primary goal is to provide the user with the most accurate, reliable answer possible. So if Google's web crawlers find 3 different phone numbers and 2 slightly different addresses for your dealership across 50 different directories, the AI's confidence score in your business just plummets.
Because it thinks, if I send my user to this address, the business might be closed, or it might be the wrong place, and the user will blame Google for a bad experience.
Exactly. The AI treats inconsistency as a huge sign of business instability. It effectively shadow bans you from top local results because you are just considered too risky to recommend. So what Dealer Leads is doing is ensuring absolute ironclad consistency across every single directory, including the OEM locators like the official Buick and GMC websites.
Which the AI referred to as building geographic authority.
Right. When Google is 100% confident in exactly who you are, where you are, and how to contact you, it happily recommends you to a high-intent buyer searching nearby.
Man, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You are building this undeniable foundation of trust with the machine, so the machine trusts you enough to introduce you to the human.
That's a great way to put it.
But that is still relying on a person typing a query into a search bar. Where this case study pushes into truly uncharted territory is how they are adapting to the way human search behavior is fundamentally changing at, like, a biological level. Oh, yeah. We are talking about the frontier of local commerce now, voice search.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We have one final search screenshot in the stack, and the query is voice search SEO for dealers.
And just like the tech searches, Dealer Leads is the absolute top result and heavily cited in the AI overview. Now, I have to confess, I used to think voice search was just a novelty for, setting kitchen timers or checking the weather while I'm cooking.
A lot of people still think that. But the data strongly suggests otherwise. Voice search is rapidly becoming the primary engine for local, intent-driven commerce.
Because it's so frictionless.
Exactly. And the AI overview highlights several critical tactics a dealer must master to actually dominate this space.
What are they?
Well, they must optimize for long-tail conversational queries. They have to adapt to local map algorithms. Crucially, they need to utilize schema markup and maintain a flawlessly updated Google business profile to capture near-me queries.
Let's break that down a bit, because the shift from typing to speaking completely changes the context of the search.
It changes everything.
I mean, think about your own behavior. If you are sitting at a desk with a keyboard, you shorthand, right? You just type Buick dealer, Illinois.
Great, you keep it brief.
But if you are in your car, your hands are on the wheel, your check engine light is flashing, and you are super frustrated, you hit a button on your dashboard and shout, "Where is the closest GMC service center that is open right now?"
Yes, the query becomes conversational, highly specific, and loaded with immediate intent.
Yeah.
You aren't asking for a list of websites to browse later. You are demanding an immediate, actionable solution right in that moment.
And the AI overview mentions schema markup as the key to answering that demand. I want to make sure I understand the mechanics of this. From what I gather in the sources, schema markup isn't something the customer ever actually sees on the screen, right?
No, not at all. It's back-end code you put on your website.
So it's almost like adding digital subtitles to your site's code so the AI doesn't have to guess what a block of text means.
That is a brilliant way to explain it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because without schema, an AI reads a series of numbers on your site and has to kind of guess if it's a phone number or maybe a part number or a price.
It's just contextless data.
Exactly. But schema markup explicitly tags the data. It tells the AI, hey, this specific string of numbers is the price of a 2026 GMC Sierra, and this other string over here is our service department's direct phone number.
So it removes all the guesswork for the machine.
Right. When a user asks their smart speaker a highly specific question, the AI needs to pull a definitive answer instantly. It literally doesn't have time to guess. It pulls from the site with the clearest, most perfectly marked up data.
If we connect that back to the source material, there is a statistic cited here that changes everything. It says over 80% of voice searches have local intent.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that 80% metric is everything. When people use voice search, they are rarely asking abstract philosophical questions.
Right, they're not asking for the meaning of life.
No, they're trying to navigate their immediate physical environment. They want to know what time the bakery down the street closes, or if a specific shoe is in stock at the local mall, or if a local dealer has a particular truck on the lot today.
And that stat ties this entire 9-month case study together perfectly
It really does.
because it explains the mystery of segment 1. The reason the analytics dashboard showed such incredibly high buyer intent, like the phone calls, the hundreds of price bills, the willingness to hand over personal data, is because this vendor intercepted those people exactly when they were literally asking out loud to buy.
Yes.
They didn't just stumble onto the dealership's website while browsing the web board at work. They were delivered there as the definitive AI-chosen answer to a spoken question.
The strategy just brilliantly aligns the technical perfection of NLP consistency and schema markup with the actual biological reality of how a human being asks a question when they are ready to spend money.
It's fascinating. So what does this all mean? If we step back and look at the entirety of this data from the Illinois dealership, it really serves as a masterclass in modern digital commerce.
It absolutely does.
It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that successful digital marketing isn't just about inflating session numbers to look good on a monthly agency report. It is about flawlessly aligning your technical SEO with actual human behavior to drive those high-friction, high-intent actions.
Yeah, and whether you are listening to this and selling $50,000 vehicles or running a local law firm or even just trying to navigate the internet as a consumer, you have to understand that this is how the digital ecosystem operates today.
It's the new reality.
It is. AI algorithms are constantly invisibly curating local authority based on technical metrics you never even see.
Right.
The machine is ranking trust, geographic consistency, and conversational relevance long before a customer ever sees a search result on their screen.
Which leaves you with something really important to think about.
Yeah.
As we move further into this world dominated by conversational AI and voice search, the screen itself is starting to disappear.
Slowly but surely.
The days of a search engine, handing a customer a list of 10 blue links and basically saying, here, figure it out for yourself, those days are rapidly coming to an end.
They are.
Instead, people are asking a question out loud into the ether, and the AI is giving them a single spoken answer. So if the future of search is just one single answer, how confident are you that your digital footprint is structured perfectly enough to be the one the machine chooses?